Okay, so now we're going to talk about the turn it down activity that you guys have. The first sheet that we're going to look at is right here, the noise level in decibels. So we're going to go through each one and talk about what the noise level is decibel wise and what are some precautions that we can take that if it gets too loud, what we can do. So looking at this chart, the lowest thing we see are leaves rustling, and that's about 20 decibels. And decibels is about the the volume. So the higher we get decibel wise, the louder it is. So at 20 decibels, we hear leaves rustling. At 30 decibels, we hear soft whisper. Then when we get to rainfall, that's about 50 decibels. And then conversation, when we just talk to each other, that's 60 decibels. And then if you can see right here on the chart, on the screen, you guys have it in black and white. But if you see it on the screen, there's a green um, there's a green area where it says all day safe listening levels, and the highest we go is 75 decibels, which is a vacuum cleaner. So we could listen to a vacuum cleaner all day and it not hurt our ears. Once we get about once we get over 75 decibels, then we start hurting our ears when we listen to these noises for long periods of time. At about 85 decibels, it's street traffic. So if we're outside and we hear cars coming by, that's about 85 decibels. When we get to rock concert, it's about 110 decibels, and that's pretty loud. And then the jet engine. So we're at the airport and we hear a jet take off. The jet engine is about 140 decibels, and that's really loud. All right, now so we're going to look at some activities that we either can turn down the volume, use ear protection, or leave the noisy area. So when the TV is too loud at home, what's the best way we can minimize our hearing loss? Can we turn down the volume? Can we use ear protection, or do we leave the noisy area? That's right. We can ask to turn down the volume. Cars on the racetrack are too loud. So if we're at a race, what's the thing we can do? If we go there to watch the race, do we ask to turn the volume down? Do we use ear protection, or do we leave the noisy area? That's right. We can use ear protection. Okay, so the fireworks are too loud. When we're out watching fireworks, do we ask to turn the volume down? Do we use ear protection, or do we leave the noisy area? That's right. We can use ear protection, but we can also leave the noisy area. And the same thing on cars on the racetrack. We can leave the noisy area if we really needed to. So the car radio is too loud. Do we ask to turn the volume down? Do we use ear protection? Or do we leave the noisy area? Typically, we ask to turn the volume down. So that's going to be our answer. How about the sound on the computer is too loud? Do we turn the volume down? Do we use ear protection? Or do we leave the noisy area? That's right, we turn the volume down. So the noise at a restaurant is too loud. Do we ask to turn the volume down? Do we use ear protection, or do we leave the noisy area? Typically, we can't ask to turn the volume down, and we wouldn't necessarily want to use ear protection, so we would just leave the noisy area in that case. And a rock concert music is too loud. Okay, so we've paid money to go to the rock concert. Do we ask to turn the volume down? Do we use ear protection, or do we leave the noisy area? Typically, we're going to wear ear protection, but we could also leave the noisy area. Fire truck sirens are too loud. Do we ask to turn the volume down? Do we use ear protection, or do we leave the noisy area? And typically, with fire trucks, we're going to leave the noisy area. And so that's what we do with the activity on Turn It Down.